All right, I'd like to welcome everyone inside Chateau Lanes for the 37th Annual Manitoba Open. I'm Darren Sini alongside once again Mike Borowski. We're calling the action. We are about to start our first match here featuring Ryan Savoy and AJ Chapman. And Mike, why don't you take us through our qualifying yesterday and kind of what you saw and what the cut line was and stuff like that.
I will. Actually, it was pretty incredible. They played 10 games yesterday. It's always more or less an endurance event qualifying here because trying to play the 10 games and stay in the hunt is a really, really tough challenge in this center because pair to pair, they just do not match up the same. And I think those players that did the best job of playing the tactical game when they changed from one pair to another ended up with the best scores. Rather than blaming themselves, they made the adjustments as quickly as possible. And generally speaking, when we talk about this level of players, and there are some really good players here, we're talking about Team Canada players, we're talking about Team USA players here. So we really have some really high-end players here. So to stay even with them, to stay in the game with them, you have to tactically be making your observations and making the changes rather than blaming yourself from one pair to the next pair.
All right.
Go ahead.
So just so everyone knows, let's go over quickly who's in our stepladder. And the first match here is AJ Chapman and Ryan Savoy. AJ is a 4 seed. He was 1834. Ryan Savoy at 1799. The winner will get Mitch Hoope in the next match. He was at 1843. Then Zach Wilkins, the number 2 seed at 1874. And leading out the day 2 here is Matt McNeil. So he'll be awaiting.
Yeah, he's going to be tough to beat. He was so steady today, and my gosh, he was ahead of everybody by 75 pins. So he really played steady, real steady from pair to pair. Now what they have, Darren, is they've got the pair that's going to be used to decide the winner, and then they're going to move and change. And I'll tell you, this 15-16 is a tough pair. Lane 16 is really tough.
And I would like to ask everyone out there, if you're in the chat room, please let us know the quality of the stream, the sound, if everything's working right. We kind of had some issues this morning, and I've been fighting with the computer all morning, so please let me know how things are. And just remember, you can always watch our show afterwards. It'll upload to YouTube following the completion of the tournament. So here we are, AJ Chapman now up on lane 15 in the second frame.
He found something in that last game, the position-winning game. He made a ball change, made a line change, and what a difference it made. The first 4 frames, he was in big trouble, but he made a good ball change and a good angle line change and made a huge difference. He knows exactly what lane 16 does, and he knows how to play it. So he's going to be tough to beat on this pair.
Okay. And we do have confirmation that everyone says things are looking great, so that's good. Everyone can hear you, Mike. So
that's excellent. Hope I don't drive you away from the TV.
Yeah, they can't see you yet, but eventually we're going to get a shot here in the booth. Let's get to know our players, shall we? Ryan Savoy is 28 from Superior, Wisconsin. High game of 300, high series of 824. His highest Manitoba Open finish was last year in 15th, so he's made it to our NDBowlTV show here today.
Yeah, he comes from a good genetic line here. Todd Savoy has attended this tournament for many, many years.
Yeah, so talk about an eagle hoarder from the USBCs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
A good shot there for Ryan.
That's good. He did not have that right lane earlier when he played on it, so that's good to see. That lane 16 is a little bit of a challenge, and everybody's going to see it if they have to end up bowling on it.
And then AJ Chapman is 24 out of St. Paul, Minnesota. High game of 300, high series of 834. He is a 3-time Team USA member, first at CBA Masters, 5th at the 2017 PBA Players Championship, which was telecast on ESPN. He is the pro shop owner at On Track Pro Shop in South St. Paul. So those of you in the Twin Cities, go give AJ a shot at helping you out with your arsenal.
Yeah, very good player.
Very
Very, very
talented.
strong. Yeah.
I believe he's originally out of Iowa.
Yeah,
He went to Wichita State, part of that national championship team with McNeil and such.
And Mitch Hoope.
Yeah, we have a lot of
Yeah.
shockers in the house. You got Doug
Absolutely.
Wagner's in the house,
Actually,
Mitch
you've
Hoope.
got two Team Canada players here. Zach Wilkins and Mitch Hoope are on Team Canada.
So star-studded Final Five, if you ask me.
Yeah, no question.
Tough spare in this house. That is not one I like to throw out here.
Yeah, you have to play the angle, but if you don't have enough ball to play it, you don't get the back pin. If you play it too straight, it hooks up too early.
Yeah, again, if you guys are watching, please share the live stream with everyone you know on social media. And again, you'll be able to watch our rerun on the archive. Good adjustment there for AJ. He actually bowled the position round on this pair, so a slight advantage there for him.
There's no question. Absolutely no question. Yeah, he, as I had said earlier, he had a little bit of difficulty with 16, but he figured it out, and the ball change set him up really good. We're waiting for a ball return here, Darren. So we should say that Michael Schmidt, world champion, missed the cut to this top 5 by 6 pins.
Wow, 6-time Manitoba Open champion misses. And I'm guaranteeing you those people up there in the final 5 are happy that he's not there. He knows a thing or two about stepladder finals in this building. So
Absolutely, absolutely. As he sets up for this one.
That's a good shot.
Yeah, that lane 15 is starting to read up a little bit. 16's not the problem. It skids right, and 15 is starting to read up a bit. So he's really packing it in pretty high right now, and that's what happened to Ryan Savoy on that last shot. It just read up a little too early for him. Well, Todd's up there. He qualified 12th to get into today's head-to-head play, which was match play all day. There's the hangout on that lane. Just slip it a little right, and it just does not get back. It's just like an OB and out of bounds. What's really challenging about this this Manitoba Open is that not only have you got a lot of good players to play against, and Darren, you played in the qualifier.
Yeah, I bowled yesterday. Yep.
It's just pair to pair. It's so challenging.
Yeah, and I have a true testament to that because I got to 9 and 10 yesterday, and it seemed like everything that could go wrong did, and I shot a 139. But 2 games later, or 3 games later, I got to 11, 12, 13, 14, somewhere around there, and shot 268. So it's definitely pair to pair is extremely different in this house, and something to kind of keep note for future years when you're out here.
Yeah, you have to accept what you're seeing. From a technical point of view, that's what the best players in the world do. They throw their first 2 balls, one on the left lane, one on the right lane, and make decisions. Oh, that was a good shot. He's definitely made an adjustment on that left lane. Just got tapped with a 10. Good run by Jack Nelson, eh? That's quite the story today, right? He came in as the alternate because the 24th player was not here on time. And came out of the gate with 268.
Wow. Yeah, didn't even expect to bowl, and then he was actually really close to making our show, too. He was finished in 8th. He actually had a good 4-bagger in the middle of the game in position round and spared up the 8th, and then I think he went split open, so then only could muster out the 190 I think he had the last game, but got the win.
I watched him throw that split. It just drained everything from him. It just deflated him. It just mentally was so tough to take. Well, that's the first jump I've seen on lane 16, so I don't know if AJ squared up a little bit on that shot. You have to keep the angle. He's very left. He's against the ball return, and he's trying to walk as straight as he can and slide into that gutter and keep the angle right towards the 10-pin.
And that's what's so tough about this house, is because if you miss it a little left, or you, like you said, you square up a little early at the line and miss left, it hooks up.
Yep.
And if sometimes you project too much, you're going to flat 10.
Yep. Good spare by AJ. He's a great spare shooter. He's straight at him, and it looks to me like he actually throws him a little harder than his strike ball.
Yep. And this is AJ's first appearance here at the Manitoba Open, so good to see him here.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more of him. He definitely has enjoyed himself. There's no question about that. Entries were down a little bit this year, Darren.
Yeah. There, what do we have, 60, and then one dropped out right as we started, so
Yeah.
59 actually competed.
Yeah, 600 games bowled and not a single 300, Darren. No 300.
Wow.
And these are really good players, all of them.
We had a few 280s, 279s, some pretty high games out there, but yeah, no 300 bowled. And I remember the last time we bowled on this pattern, I believe Matt McNeil and Eric Kempel shot 300 the very first game. So
very true. Very true. Yeah.
all right, so a spare there for AJ. Now Ryan Savoy up here in the 6th.
Yeah, he's got to figure out this right lane. He's got the left lane figured out, Darren.
Ooh, almost got lucky with that messenger go across the deck there.
Yeah, he almost knocked it down. That's too bad. That was a pretty good looking ball. Might have been a tad high, but leaving the 4-pin. Our last year's winner missed the cut.
Yeah, Wade Scott.
Yeah, Wade Scott, left-hander. He won it all last year.
He kind of ran away with it last year. He ran away with qualifying. He ran away with everything.
Yeah. And even Andy Mills, who was the 2016 winner, did not make the top 5 here today, but he was in the cut.
Yeah, finished 7th.
Yeah, well, not that far away either.
And I think that's a surprise for all of our NDBowlTV fans out there. I think we've had, oh, wow. How did that stay up?
I'm
Bad
not
break
sure.
there. But as I was saying, it's a first NDBowlTV show in a long time where neither of the lacrosse boys have made it. Nick Heilman and Andy Mills, they've kind of...
They've got a rep.
Yeah, they've made quite a few shows over the last 3 years, so to not see one of them here is pretty surprising, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Nick Heilman finished, where's he at? Oh, towards the bottom, 22nd. He did make the cut, but finished 22nd.
Yep. He had a tough day today. Tougher than normal. I mean, he had a couple of deuces, but that was it. He had 2 or 3, and they were low end, and just could not get some big games. And from pair to pair, there's some pairs, depending on how your game fits on that pair, you're going to get a chance at a good game, and you got to take it while you get it, because you may not get anything on the next pair.
All right, so that open there for Ryan. AJ's going to look to take advantage of it here.
He's finally moved on the right lane. AJ has moved in front of the ball return because he's got to get more angle, because that lane is starting to read up, and it was not earlier. Very smart player. He doesn't take too long to make the decision and just go ahead and make the change and do it.
Think of those 3 years on Team USA as experience. Kind of fits in really well in this kind of situation.
Oh, absolutely. And remember, these lanes have not been re-oiled. These lanes are whatever was left. I'm not sure he was really trying to get it out that far on the lane. I think he was trying to project it a little bit, but he got caught in it a little bit, and that tends to square you up a little bit. It's going to make this game a lot tighter.
Tough spare. Tell you, that's one spare that I would not want to throw out either on a show like this. So.
Yeah. It's you don't need the added pressure as well. It's a tough enough spare on its own.
Well, now if Ryan Savoy can come up here and put up a double,
yeah,
we'll make AJ earn it.
Well, he'll have to he'll have to go after it. Ryan's doing some thinking on this right lane right now.
And again, here at the Manitoba Open, we do switch pairs for each match. So the next match will be over here on 17 and 18. So following this match, we'll take a little move for our cameras, and then we'll be back for the next one against, I believe Mitch Hoope is up next.
Yeah, he made a jump into 3 from 5 on his last game. Boy, it's starting to get difficult on both lanes. I think that he probably should have gone a little more left on that one.
A big testament to the Wichita State program for college when you've got McNeil, Chapman, Hoope, Doug Wagner. I mean, we have a lot of Wichita State guys here.
Absolutely, yeah, they have got a remarkable record of making unbelievable high-end players. That is it for sure. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if Ryan's, but anything can happen. So he's got to definitely set up this 9th frame for himself. He's made a move already on this left lane, so he should be okay. Nope.
See, and that's the trouble you get into in this house when you try to square up the ball, try to get more of the head pin to get the 10 out. It's tough.
Yeah, just you square up, it reads early, and that's it. It's gone. Yeah, you've got to keep that angle.
Would like to thank a few of our sponsors, Canada Inns, Coca-Cola, South Beach Casino and Resort, and One Insurance for sponsoring the 2018 Manitoba Open.
Absolutely, it makes such a difference for our bowling, the sport of 10-pin bowling. The support these people give us make a huge difference. And we should also thank the owners,
yes,
the Nielsen family, Bev, John, Mel, Jennifer, all their hard work this weekend, and of course all the volunteers that helped out.
Well, AJ's kind of got this one in hand, so it's a matter of trying to find something here that'll work.
Yeah, he is really deep on that right lane now. That thing just came crashing down. He's in front of the ball return, not even beside it. He's in front of it, folks, and the steps he's taken are so small. They're like miniature steps.
Yeah, and those who frequent extra frame for the PBA Tour do see AJ quite a bit on there, so he is known for his ability to loft the cap.
Yep. And he's a big, strong boy, too, so you got to dare to do it as well.
Yep.
It's not that easy, and then you got to hit a target, and then you got to send it right, and then you got to know it's going to come back.
Yeah, you have to be really strong to do that.
Yeah, you really do.
Well, he's got this one in hand. He needs just a couple pins, a couple pins here, and he's moving on. So,
yeah, the only advantage he's going to have if he figures out this left lane right now, because I think he has to move a little more left than he did on the last shot, the advantage is going to be he's going to move to 17 and 18 for his next match. And if he wins, he's going to come back to this pair.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
10 wanted to go.
That was close. He is really lofting the caps on the left lane now, and he's got room to move there.
So now, Mike, you're a world level coach. So in this situation, AJ is now going to throw to spare. He's going to have a fill ball. What would you suggest he does on that fill ball in this instance? Because he's not going to come back here for another match.
Yeah.
But is this a fine-tuned thing, your mechanics, or is this try to throw another ball to see how it reacts even though you're going to another pair?
Well, that's unfortunate that he missed it.
We put the curse on AJ there, the booth curse.
We might have done that. We should have not talked about it. But, when you know you've got it, it's not really a concern. However, to answer your question, because nobody else is going to bowl on that pair, he was lined up on that last shot.
Mm-hmm.
He might have tried to change the roll a little bit just because he didn't carry the 10 and he didn't like the way that looked. Yeah, this lane 16 is really gone now, boys. So,
and the guy waiting on that lane is going to be Zach Wilkins, who I know a few years ago he was on this pair. He lost to Michael Schmidt here.
He did,
and
yeah.
You and I were calling the action at the time.
We were.
I don't think it's his favorite pair.
No, no, it's not. But I'll tell you what, he's got a lot more game now. He can get as far left as anybody now, and he can.
Yesterday he was lofting the cap because he was bowling with me, I think, the last couple games. Well, that'll do it here for Ryan Savoy. Good tournament for him. AJ Chapman will move on to play Mitch Hoope here in our next match on 17 and 18. We're going to cut the sound for a minute and move our cameras over, and we'll be right back. All right, and just like that, we are back and are moved over here to 17 and 18. Let's get to know our third qualifier, Mitch Hoope. Shuffle through our pages here. I'll find him. Mitch Hoope is out of here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, the local here in the Stepladder. PABCON Trios Gold in 2016, USBC Nationals Team Eagle last year in 2016, and Intercollegiate Team Championships in 2015. So part of that Wichita State.
Yeah, he's really grown, this young fellow.
He's finished 5th, 7th, and 8th in the Manitoba Open, so a new high finish for him will be coming here today.
Yep.
He's 22 years old.
And on Team Canada. So one of Team Canada's players.
While we have a minute, let's come into the booth. Let's see, for the first time on NDBowlTV, is Mike Borowski.
Hi, everybody.
I'm
Good
Darren
to see
Cini,
ya.
and sorry for all you people who don't like me wearing a Titleist hat on my show. But I got a lot of people asking me about that and saying it was wrong. But at any rate,
the sun's not out, so I'm not wearing mine.
well,
it's cold.
We'd blind the camera if I took mine off. That's kind of the thing here. But we would like to thank as well the official sponsor of NDBowlTV is Ebonite, and Sean Morris and the crew at Ebonite have done a great job for us and have helped with NDBowlTV over the years, and we can't thank them enough. We would like to invite everyone to stay connected to ndbowling.com and NDBowlTV. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube page. It is free. And make sure you subscribe so that you'll be able to get notifications every time we go live, and we'll be going live again in just 2 short weeks from Minot at the CMA Memorial Shootout, a favorite among many bowlers in the area. So a big show coming up. 2 weeks.
Minot, that's almost a full entry already, I think. I think they've got 100 entries already.
Yeah, over 100, but there is space for 160. So if you still want to bowl, please call Jeff Craig at North Hill Bowl, and he'll get you down. They do take the first 160 paid, so if you want to make sure your spot is secure, do pay. I have yet to do that, so I should probably pay Jeff when we get home.
He's here. He's listening to you. He's probably putting your name down. Yeah. So the warm-ups are done here, Darren. So the high spot, which is Mitch Hoope, has the choice of either starting or getting Mr. Chapman to start. And it looks like Mitch has decided to start. I'm not sure, but it looks like he's...
Looks like it.
Yep.
So they're trying to stop the practice here so that they can get arrows. Again, we do apologize if the stream is a little laggy today. We're working on a few computer issues, but we think we're good now. If you have any issues or you can't hear us, please let us know. Mitch Hoope now up in the first.
I should tell you, whenever Mitch can play straight, he prefers to. It's not that he can't play deep. He certainly can't. And he proved that yesterday because he was way left. There was a time he couldn't and wasn't comfortable with it, but he can play all the lines now. But he does love to go down the boards. Wow.
Shot there.
That's a pretty ball. He's in front of the ball return again, so he's definitely deep.
It's Chapman, a storm staffer. Looks like he's throwing a no rules of sort. I believe the pearl.
Yep. He switched to it in the 7th or the 8th position round game, and that was about halfway through, and he's had it in his hand ever since. Yep.
Yeah, I thought he gave that one a little extra on the bottom there.
Yeah, he did. And the one thing you can't get away with on lane 17 is exactly that. You have got to let that thing go right off your hand, because if you don't, it's a read up every time, whether you square up or not. 17 always plays a little bit drier than 18. Good release. He's got a spare making back.
Yeah. All right, let's try to get an idea here of what Mitch is throwing. It looks like the new Eruption Pro from Columbia, the blue one.
Yeah, it does.
Ebonite International guy going on here.
Little bit of a hang. Just a bit. He's actually in a good area, but you got to stay very straight. The pattern that we've got that we're bowling on is called the Challenge Series. It's called the Beaten Path. And generally speaking, everybody, if they do bowl in the same area, it is a very good shot. But the more games you play on it, the more it depletes itself, because the center ratio is only 4.5 to 1. So it's nowhere near a house shot. If you play 6 games on it, you're going to have some pretty big numbers, but when you play 10 games on it, it's tougher to play.
Now, what I find interesting about that pattern is I bowled here in this tournament on that pattern 2 other times, I believe in 2014 and then again in 16 when Andy Mills won. And in both occasions, the cut was about 75 to 100 over. Now, this year, the cut was under.
Yeah,
so it's amazing how different it plays.
Yeah, it does. But remember, only top 24 this year. Last year, I believe they cut to 30 because they had 78 players.
No, they cut to 24.
Ah, they did? Okay.
A few years back when they had 89 entries, they took 30.
They took 30.
But they've taken 24 every other year, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with, as I said before, the topography of each lane bed in itself and the panels. And that's usually what causes it. But the kind of players you have make a difference too.
Absolutely, yeah, and the changing of the bowling ball equipment too.
Oh,
how strong has this stuff gotten over the last few years? Which
stronger and stronger.
And how can the oils and the lanes keep up with them? Really?
Yeah, very true. And they're trying to use the kind of oils that don't migrate, which means don't carry down. And if the balls suck them up in the front and they don't carry down, you can't get a setup.
Right.
So it changes fast.
Rare miss there for AJ, so
very rare.
Kind of puts himself in an early hole here in this match.
Just something I've noticed in the last couple of games that he's played on the few spares that he has missed, because I watched him all weekend, and he did not miss very many spares at all, but he tends to be just a little quick on his setup and go, and that's not the time he takes on his strike ball. So I think he's just got to spend a little more time in the setup. Whatever his pre-routine sequence is, he's got to make it identical. He has to.
And I'll admit, there are certain times spares, it's easy to kind of lose focus really quick. Is that going to come back?
Yeah, he wanted to give it room that time, so he really got it out there. This is a touchy pair. And when you think about the number of games they played on it today and the number of players that played, yesterday you had 6 players per pair, 3 per lane, but today you only had 1 per lane. So the breakdown and the opening up and the setting up was totally different today.
Right, because I would assume, like every other tournament, a lot of people started a little further left than they did yesterday in qualifying, so then they break down a little bit different. And
yep. And you need more players playing in the same area to make it set up the same as what it was yesterday, and that couldn't happen because you only had 24 players.
Correct.
And they were spread across 24 lanes.
What I find interesting too is in this house, more than any other house, I find it that it really matters who starts on that pair, who has that practice, those 15 minutes of practice to really carve that area out.
To set it up. Yep.
And then everyone plays off of that. So really knowing who starts where for the day is pretty important. So.
Yeah, so for those of you listening, what Darren just said is exactly what, for example, Mitch would do on Team Canada. We're getting ready for the team event. We've made a plan, decided on where we want to work and open the area up. So when we're done after the 10 or 15 minutes, we're going to move a little bit left, and we know we got room to miss right because we made the little trough for ourselves. And that's generally what happens. So you're right. The players that are on that warm-up determine how you're going to start.
Yeah, that ball took off on him.
He's going to have to move left on this left lane. It is really tough. He's got good hold on 18. He's got no problem there. But this 17 just has a tendency to sneak up, and you can't even get a few shots out of it. It just keeps changing enough that it just gets you, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wanted that one. He had a double, and he really wanted that. That would have made it tough for AJ to come back and get him, but now it's still fair game.
Yeah, still early in the match.
Yep.
AJ's only down, if he strikes here, down about 22, so plus he's got the strike up in the 5th, so a big shot here for him to start working his way back.
Yeah. This seems to be the good lane for him right now. He's thrown his regular ball. That was too right too soon. He left or exited the 10 board to the right too early, that was going to be tough to come back on 18 because it definitely has a little bit of OB to the right.
And that's where this house likes to trick you,
Yep.
because you always leave the flat 10s. The ball doesn't face up quite enough,
Yep.
so you want to get it out to that dry, get it
See if you
rolling
can face
sooner,
it up.
and then you so that it tricks you a little bit.
Yeah, it really does. And depending on the pair you're on, that's exactly what happens there. Moving left on the right lane is a good strategy, what AJ has done. But he's got to be sure that his angles are not too much to the right, because if it slips right on 18, it does not get back, and that's exactly what happened there.
Right.
Now this one, he knows he's got no choice. He's got to get left, and he's got to project, because this lane reads up. And he's definitely further left than he is on that lane.
Fell out of that one.
Yeah, he
got
couldn't
lucky.
post it. That's all that happened. You're right. He fell off of it, yeah.
Looked like one of my shots, but many less revs for me.
Yeah, he's a very high rev player. What I like about his game is he's got a more in the hand than most people. Like, he can roll it, he can twist it. That's really good, because that's another way to change the way the ball behaves going down the lane. This is his good lane. Oh, that read up.
And for those of you out there who are just starting bowling and want to learn how to hook the ball, kind of watch all these guys on our show. They've all got a unique way of hooking the ball, a unique release, and a unique way of generating power, which I find really interesting with our final five here today.
They all do it a little bit different.
Oh,
that was too quick. Oh.
And you could hear the collective groan in the building as
Very
the
local
favorite here, Mitch Hoope. Now let's three-time Team USA member AJ Chapman back in the match here. So.
Oh, he definitely opened the door wide open. That was not good. I think he was a little frustrated with what happened on that first shot. And you can't take it with you. You have to let it go and start all over. What's in front of you is all that counts. See if he's made the move. Nope.
That one's going left too.
He's got to move. He's got to move way left now. He's got no choice. He's lost whatever he had on that left lane. And he's losing it on his right lane as well. He's trying to play straighter than AJ, and I think he has to make the move.
That's a really tough spot to be in when you're in the seventh frame of a match and all of a sudden you give up the pocket. You have to be very confident with your moves when it comes down to that.
You're absolutely right. You make a very valid point, because, my God, should I stay or should I change it? If I change it, what's going to happen? Better projection. Still got caught a little bit. The other thing most people don't realize, when you have to get in front of the ball return, your angles change rather abruptly, and the tendency is for you to go right a little too early. When you're further back in the approach, the angle actually is decreasing, which means it's easier to project it to down there at the 10 board at the far end. So when you're in front like he is, he's got to be very, very careful, because he's already in an open position for angle.
Okay, on the spare, and now with the Mitch Hoope Open there in the sixth, we got ourselves a match here.
We really do. So just to give you a little bit lay of the land here, if I was to pick one of the toughest pairs in the house, I'd say it's number 1, 19 and 20. And guess what? Number 2 is 17 and 18. And number 3 is 15 and 16.
All of them in the middle of the house.
All in the middle of the house. Good projection.
It's a good shot there.
Yeah, that was a great one. He has no choice on that lane. He has to do that. You got to be careful doing that on 18, because you might not get it back.
And I will say, one of the toughest things in bowling is to combine projection with revs, and the way he does that is remarkable.
It is absolutely. He's moved. He's definitely moved.
Good shot. Now
That's a
let's see
good
what
shot.
he does on 17.
Yeah. He's got to really move on this. If he just does a little move, it's not going to be enough. I'd be telling him to do a 10-6 left. If not, get in exactly the same place AJ
But it's
is.
so tough to do because it's the 9th frame.
I know, and he's got to double up.
This is a pivotal point in the match. I do not envy his position. I'd want to be on the show, but
I think he's going to throw a little more heat. He has a lot of ball speed, so.
Move left.
Pushed it right.
I don't think he made a big enough move left.
No, that's why I said. I may have exaggerated a little bit with 10-6, but the point I was trying to make, he has to create a lot of angle now, and 5-3 is not enough, and that's normally an area change, right? Move. So it's just not enough. Now he's really got to focus on this because AJ's got to strike up. All right, good spare. He posted that one much better than the last one.
Always easy to chop those spares, isn't it?
Oh, it so is, and if you don't have enough angle, you will chop it.
All right, big shot here for AJ now. Last time bowling here on 18 for this match, so.
This is the tough one for him.
Is that going to come back?
Nice roll. He didn't loft it. He rolled it, so he got a chance to get it back. What happens when you loft it too much? You twist it too much, and then you get the extra skid, and you can't get the recovery. But he rolled it.
And what's remarkable is now he's got to do something completely different on the left.
Exactly. Opposite. You're right. And it's the only way you can play the pair. There's nothing he can do.
This is exactly why he's a 3-time Team USA member, for those of you watching.
Yeah. He's a very smart player.
The ability to do two completely different things on each lane.
For those of you listening, adapt, adapt, adapt. That's what tactical is. Did not get it out right enough. That might have just saved Mitch's chances here.
Yeah, that's going to put a 190 up here on the board for AJ with a fill and a strike. So, yeah, he's going to need a Manitoba Open of sorts. So.
Yeah, that's the only way.
But count is really close here. So getting this in a strike is very important because that'll force a mark out of who.
That'll force Mitch to have a great first ball. I agree. Remember, Mitch is coming to his better lane. Good release. Ooh, that was close.
All right, now this is a big fill ball based on count and everything else. This is a pretty big shot here.
This would give him technically the 1-pin advantage.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and it would force a mark out of Mitch.
No choice.
Big shot.
Yep.
Did you get it there? Ooh, a
Jumped.
7 count.
Yeah, it's such a tough lane, that left lane.
Well, Mitch needs 9 on the first ball.
Yeah.
9 count will do it.
Yeah, that count did not help AJ at all.
He needs 9 on this ball, and
just remember this. Oh, he went after it.
He got it.
Yeah, he went after it. You can't throw it much better than that and leave a 9-pin. I mean, that was really good, considering what was at stake.
Yeah, well, that'll do it for Mitch Hoope now. Well, I guess he technically does need this.
Yeah, he's got to shoot to spare. He's throwing the hook at it.
Ooh, all right.
I'm not sure why he did that.
Well, there you go. That will officially do it now.
Yeah, the general rule is if it's a single pin, throw straight ball at it, especially on the right side of the head pin, especially because this pattern has got that unknown factor outside 10, and you don't want to go there.
Well, we're going to have an all-Canadian match here in the semifinals featuring Zach Wilkins against Mitch Hoope, 2 Team Canada members.
Absolutely. Same team.
And then the winner will get Matt McNeil, and Matt must be defeated twice as the top seed on our show.
Yeah.
Once again, we're going to cut the sound here and everything out. We're going to move some cameras, and we'll be right back.
Sorry.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We got our cameras moved, and Mike, what do you think of our first 2 matches so far?
Well, actually, that last one was really exciting because the possibilities were unbelievable.
And what they had to do from lane to lane, because the lanes are so different.
Oh, the pair was just so uneven, and it was just so, from a tactical point of view, you had to play 2 different kinds of shots. And the unfortunate part is for HA, when he was playing the right lane, he had the perfect shot for it because he was playing the roll. But that left lane was so finicky, it would just grab so early, so he had to over-project the ball. And unfortunately, that keeps you in a little longer, and it made some difficulties for ball behavior consistency.
So now, do you feel as though our lone left-hander on the show is going to have an advantage?
I think he has a distinct advantage. There's 2 reasons why I'm going to say this to you. Number one, it's not just because he's a left-hander, but most of the righties today did not get as far left as they did yesterday. So they didn't mess up his side, his landing area. So as a result, he's pretty much in a free zone there for the landing area, and that determines how the ball goes down the lane. So I think he has definitely got an advantage.
And we will see Matt McNeil starting in our championship match after this one. And we will be on 17 and 18 first. And I did talk to Matt a little bit before the show, and he's like, if I had a choice, I'd rather bowl on 17 and 18. So you're going to, in my mind, he's probably going to look to put it away. He doesn't want to go to 15 and 16, regardless who he's bowling against.
He's going to try and get it done the first game.
Correct.
And that makes a lot of sense, especially when you know in the back of your mind, if you have to go to that next pair, you may have some difficulties. So get the job done.
Correct.
Yeah, you got to remember, these guys have played on these pairs before, but the only player that has played on it just before is Mitch Hoope.
Correct.
He knows what he's got to do on those
So
pairs.
advantage Mitch if he advances.
Absolutely, and he's going to get some warm-ups, and he's going to figure out that left lane if he can get through this match with Zach.
All right, let's get to know Zach Wilkins. We've seen him on our show quite a bit. We saw him here at the Manitoba Open last year. We also saw him in Minot. A little bit of a bad break in that show. If you guys want to go on to our YouTube page, we do have a video of a 10-pin converted like 8.5 on Zach last year, which ultimately did cost him the match.
Really?
Yeah, you'll have to go watch that sometime.
I have not seen that. Yeah. I'm going to look at it.
Go to youtube.com where everyone's watching our show right now, youtube.com/NDBowling, and we do have a little highlight video on that. Probably not Zach's favorite moment, but
it happened.
It does. And his high game 300, as you would expect, high series 867. His past Manitoba Open finishes. He was 5th in 2015, 3rd in 2016 and 2017. So this is his 4th straight year making our NDBowlTV show. So
yeah, he's been very, very consistent. And you know what? To make the trip from where he lives and come out every year to do this, I'll tell you what. That says a lot about
he is from
thinks.
Ontario,
Yeah,
so he's
exactly
quite a ways away.
It says a lot about what he feels the competition in this tournament is for him.
And I know he's got a lot of friends in the area too, so it's almost fun to come back and see all of his old teammates as well.
Exactly.
Well, in his past tournament wins, he's got a PABCON championship, trios, all events, Bud Light Eliminator, Orb Drillers, and he did want us to say he got a PS4 for Christmas. So, congratulations to
Way
Zach.
to go, Zach.
on a nice haul at Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, here he is, up in the first frame. No stranger to NDBowlTV.
No, that's for sure. One of the best players in the country. He is so smooth.
You know, and I believe he's made 6 NDBowlTV shows without a win, so
He's
I'm
overdue.
thinking he's due.
Yeah, he's definitely overdue. But I got to tell you, having coached Mitch for all those years, I am leaning a little bit towards that.
He's already got a game under his belt, which does help. So there's a question for you. In a stepladder format, would you rather be the Matt McNeil in this situation and come in, bowl one game, possibly win it, or would you rather be a different seed if, saying you get through that first match and get the momentum rolling and understand the lanes a little better?
Well, I think I'd like to be watching and warming up, and the fact that I know I got 2 games to be beat, I'm going to be very confident. I'm going to take all the chances in the first game to get it done. All the chances to get it done. But if that doesn't happen, I know I got a backup. So sometimes it can be a deterrent because it means you're not really focusing on what you have to get done here in front of you. So you got to be careful about how you think about it.
See, in this tournament, things are unique because the top seed has to be beaten twice, and you switch pairs.
Exactly.
When we go to Minot in 2 weeks, it's one pair, winner take all in the final, and you just progressively go down that lane.
Exactly.
So in that case, as a 2 or a 3 seed, you kind of have an advantage bowling on that pair. Where today, in this setting, it's not.
Yeah. I like this challenge of bowling on the different pairs in the stepladder because it doesn't guarantee that the person that's found the pair is going to win the pair throughout the whole day. That's why I like it. But when you have standard TV, they set up the cameras. They can't move. We're fortunate that we have what you have here because it allows us to adapt. Oh, there's 16. There's that little hang on there.
This is looking I'm getting deja vu. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Because Zach has made our show all 3 times we've done this. This is our 4th show here.
And this pair is not his favorite. That's unfortunate.
And I hope you all are enjoying. We do have a new lanes cam this year, so a little clearer picture for you. Hopefully everything's running well on your end.
Right at it. He's a pretty consistent spare shooter. He's one of the best two-handed 10-pin spare makers I've seen. His ball off his hand is so smooth. It's just incredible. I mean, the same for his strike ball. You can hardly hear it at times. You just can't hear it.
Yeah, the talent level on our show today is pretty high with the different things they can do, the way they play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, these are really good players. I'll tell you what, we're lucky in Manitoba to have this level of player come to our tournament. Oh, there's a little bit of a square up there.
And again, I do believe most of the people in the field this week will be bowling in Minot in 2 weeks, and they, as have aforementioned before, that we do have over 100 signed up for that tournament. So if you're looking to compete in a good tournament, come out to Minot in 2 weeks.
I know that there's a contingent in Winnipeg that will definitely be going there. There's always a small group that goes there.
And NDBowlTV will be there as well for the finals on Sunday. Myself and good friend Ken Fletcher will be calling the action with me in that one. And then our final show of the year will be at the NDBowling.com Classic in March down in Fargo. So we get quite a few bowlers from up here going down there as well.
Yeah, we do. Yes. I've never gone, but I know I've heard quite a few of the players talk about it.
Yeah, Michael Schmidt is a past champion, so we do have a Canadian champion for the Classic.
Yep.
Last year's winner was Andy Mills, so he's a defending champion. So
Andy's a good player. I'm really surprised that I because he's won the tournament, number one.
On this pattern.
On this pattern, I really was surprised that he was not in the top 5. Ooh. I don't know why Mitch is deciding to bowl or throw hook balls at some of his spares, but it's very scary on this pattern particularly, and from pair to pair, so I think he should stay with the game plan of straight at it.
And not to make any excuses, but as a bowler in this setting, maybe it's a feel thing. Maybe a spare ball doesn't feel quite right. Maybe because he bowled 10 games yesterday. He bowled 8 this morning, 9 just a minute ago. So he's on game 20 for 2 days.
It's true.
And I know at that level, these players, they bowl so much.
And truthfully, the point you make is very valid, because some people do have a comfort level with pins left of the head pin, for example, and throwing a hook ball at it. What you have to be careful with here is angles when you do that. You got to make sure you allow for the hook rather than just go straight at it, because the pattern is too short and not enough width in the double layer, and that means when it leaves the end, it really does move.
And I'm the same way. I tend to hook at my left side spares. It's just because of what I'm comfortable in league and stuff like that. But when you get on tougher patterns and you're not too sure of what the middle's doing, it's hard to hook across that. Yeah,
it tends to expose what we call our games, right? I'm like you. I like to shoot the hook at the left side spares, especially on a house shot. I know I got a ton of
And not a big hook. It's just just
subtle.
a slight.
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely made a move on that right lane. He's taken a little more angle to play the OB, to get away from the OB. So the idea of going left in front of that ball return, for those people that have not played with it or not comfortable play with it, is basically to get some of that skid off the front on the left side that nobody's using. Right, even the left-handers that played in this center this weekend, they were never that far left.
No, so I'm pretty sure Matt McNeil is sliding at about 25.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's playing a little fluff shot in the middle of the lane is what I've seen him play all week. So
yeah, and he's a roller, right? He's just off his hand right at the foul line.
Yeah, the way he can project the ball and still roll it the way he does.
It's quite amazing, yeah. I'm not sure why Zach isn't a little more left on this left lane, but... he's in the gutter. He's got it. He's got it.
And he did take a re-rack there to kind of collect his thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe the rack wasn't very good, but it was a big shot, on a strike. Get the double up on the board.
It's a good point you make about the re-rack, because the last match we had on here, I saw AJ make the re-rack on the left lane twice.
So it must be a finicky
lane
lane
in the
there.
Setup, yeah. Good looking ball.
And and I don't know, like down in the States, they do allow 2 re-racks a game. What's the common rule up here in Canada?
I think it depends on what the tournament is and what the tournament director is going to announce. Everybody has the right in our individual tournaments to say, for example, yes, you can sand between games. If we had a provincial, let's say a final for the youth, it's a 5-game block, 6-game block. There is no sanding.
Okay.
Right? So that's the way it is. And so the re-racks come in the same category. They will tell you, if you want a re-rack, come and get me. They will look at it, and if they say no, you don't get it. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. And again, I think it just depends on the nature of the tournament and the tournament director, and trying to make it fair for everybody.
Sure.
Because some people take advantage of the reruns.
And that is one good thing to note, too, about the altering of the ball surface. In between games up here, you can do that, and that's something different for a lot of us in the States because you're not allowed to once the scoring starts.
Exactly. That was a bad shot by Mitch. I don't know what happened there, but he just, for it not to hook on the left lane, seems to me he was trying to make it go straighter than he wanted to, because he hooks everything.
Yep. Oh, this is a makeable spare, so... And the Booth jinx again.
Yeah. He looks a little frustrated. I'm not quite sure what that is, but when you watch players give off body behavior motions as many years as I have, you will begin to notice that it is affecting their play. They've got to let it go.
Yeah, you have to have a short memory out here, don't you?
You really do.
It's a big shot for him on that lane.
Yeah, and for those of you watching, he landed that ball on the 3 board from the left side. That's the 37 board. That's where he landed it so that he could get the skid to get the angle he wanted. That is incredibly tough.
And to still have the rotation, the roll to get the ball back, and to kick the 10.
Exactly. So you can't just throw it there. You got to make sure it gets back.
It's easy to go way left and throw it. I mean, I tried it yesterday, but I just don't have the rev rate to get it to turn the corner.
Yeah. We had a couple of our youth players that entered this tournament for the experience, and it's one of the things they've never had to do, because you bowl 3 games in a house shot in your league play for the youth, and that's, you never see the breakdown, right? Wow, hardly heard that one. Oh.
Well, he's in pretty good control of this match, and Mitch is going to have to make a big move here to try to put a double up on the board in the 7th and 8th.
There's still time, but you're right. He has to do it. He has to start now.
And while we have a minute, I do want to thank the staff here at Chateau Lanes. We had kind of a crisis this morning with our computer system. One of our pieces went down. We weren't getting any signal to our monitor, so Joe, I think his name is, here in the...
Yep.
He went and got us a cable. Everything works, and we're here, so big shout out to them.
Joe is one of our favorite backups for a lot of things, not just the machines. Oh my, I wonder if that's a sign he really needed that one, because without it, I'm not sure he could even have a chance. So,
well, it puts a little more emphasis on this one now.
Oh, it really, really does. Yeah, it really
especially
does.
With Zach having the 9 spare in the 7th, he can gain a few here.
Yeah. I'll tell you about the staff here. They've been wonderful. I've been here for years, and they are just the nicest people.
Yeah.
And whatever it is you need, they're going to get it for you.
And that's everywhere from the snack shop staff to the volunteers that help keep score and to bring out everything.
So helpful, yeah. And you know what? I love that about this tournament. Like, getting everything to work right is not that easy.
Yeah, I know that with this.
Yeah, you need that help. This is not a good sign. This is not a good thing.
Well, Zach can kind of put a stranglehold on this match and advance to his first title match in the Manitoba Open in 4 tries here on NDBowlTV. So this is kind of a big moment for him.
It really is, yeah. He has to close the door now.
But unfortunately, he's got to face a guy named Matt McNeil, and he's got to beat him twice. So,
yeah, the one advantage he might have is that he is left. Oh, too much. Did not unload on that shot. And what I mean by that, he simply did not open his wrist to get that ball off his hand like he normally does. And he's a no-thumber, folks. He does not put his thumb in the ball. He's a two-handed, no-thumb bowler. So everything depends on the unloading of that wrist, which is now cocked in the swing.
All right, well, with Mitch Hoope up there with a max score of 199, Zach is just a mere, count in these next two frames to take care of it. So
yeah. There were a number of our youth players that attempted to make this cut. They bowled in the tournament, so I give them a lot of credit.
Sure.
Brittany Crawford just had a child. She's a past Canadian team member for the youth.
Very nice.
Brittany Rocan is presently a Canadian team youth player. And Larissa Naylor would have been here because she's on the national team as well, but she had an emergency gallbladder operation 3 days ago.
Yikes. That's not easy.
That is not easy. No, she wanted to play. She really wanted to compete in this tournament. So that's most unfortunate, but I give them all credit for making the effort to compete with these people because it's a wonderful experience. And I encourage any youth player who wants to find out what more they have to learn to come into this tournament. Whether you're in Winnipeg, in Manitoba, in Minot, in Minneapolis, whatever it is, you want to get to the next level, you come to this tournament.
Right, you have to bowl tournaments, really.
Yeah, and this one is a good one because 10 games, it takes you to the extreme. It forces you to play the angles that these great players have to play.
And I think one thing that goes, I guess, I don't know the right word for it, but is experience.
Yep.
Is when you come out here, you can't expect to have success right away unless you're an incredible talent.
Yeah.
Different houses, different patterns require different play, different equipment, everything. So you need experience. You need to understand what kind of moves you make. And
you need the variables that some of those experiences give you, right? You can't just say, oh, yeah, but I bowl in all the local tournaments on the house shot. Well, there's no variables there.
Right.
These are variables. This is a different house. It's not a house pattern. It's a challenge series. I mean, when Kegel made it, they forced the center oil to be lower. Why? Because now when you miss, right? You don't get away with it.
And what's crazy about a pattern like this is you put this down in Minot, you put this down at the Classic in Fargo, the play is completely different.
Completely
the surface is different in all three houses.
Absolutely.
The field is different. You get a field with a lot of high rev players playing very hard surfaces. Well, it's going to change a lot quicker. So
especially when the patterns become flatter. And for example, we compete with the Canadian teams on sport shots that have a ratio of 2 to 1. So can you imagine if you miss left? Well, that's hooking. There's no way that's going to hold. But if you play on a house pattern, you're playing with a 10 to 1 ratio.
Right.
And if you miss left, guess what?
No.
It's going to hold.
So one thing I've always found is the hardest part about bowling is to get non-bowlers to understand how good these players are without being able to see the conditions.
Exactly, yeah.
And if bowling can someday bridge that gap, or at least make it a lot closer, I think bowling will succeed a lot better.
And that is the challenge. You can't see it, so you have to see it a different way. You have to observe the ball reaction, and from that, make some tactical changes.
Very nice. Well, that completes our semifinal match. Zach Wilkins defeats Mitch Hoope 203 to 177, and we'll go on to take on Matt McNeil here in the championship match. So
these guys are great friends, great teammates, and they're going to congratulate each other no matter who would have won. And I know Mitch is disappointed, and just a bad matchup on the pair. My personal opinion is he should have gone left where Zach was.
Sure.
He could have competed with him. You just couldn't do it on that pair. You might have got it away with it on 18, lane 18, but on 15 and 16, no.
I agree. Well, we're going to kind of cut here, and we'll be back in 1 second for our championship match. All right, so we are back in the booth here with Mike Borowski. I'm Darren Cini with NDBowling.com. Our championship match now is Matt McNeil versus Zach Wilkins. So what do you think is going to happen in this match?
Well, I'll tell you, because Zach won, this match is going to be tougher. Because Zach did not play on this pair. And how many games ago did he play on it? Too late.
Yeah,
too
a
much
while
changes.
ago.
Yeah, too much changes taken place. So Zach has got to really watch what's happening here on these warm-up shots. I think that Matt has got the advantage because nobody has messed up his area today. Nobody. Yesterday was a little different because more players crossing, moving left. But today, not so much.
And Matt did bowl position round on this pair.
Yeah, he's got the advantage.
There are no other lefties in the house. So aside from people crossing his path, that's about all the changes there's going to be.
Yep.
Well, let's get to know Matt McNeil. He's also no stranger to the upper Midwest around here and in the nation for that matter.
Yep.
His past Manitoba Open finishes are 4th last year, 5th and 16, 5th and 15, and 5th and 13. So this is his 5th show. He PBA versus the world champion, the little show they had there at the World Series of Bowling. He was part of the PBA team. He multiple-time Eagle winner out at the USBC Open. All events champion in 15. 3 all events Eagles total. He has a doubles Eagle as well. He won the 11thframe.com Open in 2015, the InsideBowling.com Open in 14. A 2015 Peterson Classic champion, which is always a fun tournament, and that kind of shows how versatile this guy is. When you think of the Peterson, conditions go out the window at that place.
Yeah, and I understand that. It's funny you should say that because I have a lot of old bowling balls that people are always looking for, and that's one of the tournaments that they use it in. And I have given a few of those to some of these players that were here this weekend, and they have thanked me for it because it has made them a lot of money in that tournament.
Yeah, that pays out really well, and I believe do they hold it down in the Chicago area now? I know they've moved it around the last few years, but I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure where it was last year, to be honest. Or this year. No, last year. We're in 2018.
Yep.
Sorry, time change,
Yeah. I will say, too, that Matt McNeil is an NDBowling.com major champion. He won the Morris Anderson Memorial Shootout in Minot back in 2013. So
does not surprise me.
Looking for his second, and Zach Wilkins is looking for his first major. So, again, Matt must be defeated twice here as a top seed. So,
if I was going to take a player's release and make a video and put it on YouTube, I would pick this left-hander. His roll off his hand is so smooth, so clean, and so unbelievably good. It compares to the best I've seen in the world.
And he is a National Brunswick staffer throwing the kingpin, I believe.
Just so smooth. Yeah. All hand position and unloading. Just really good.
And we did talk about it earlier. I think he's going to be really trying to put this one away right away. And
I agree. Yeah, he doesn't want to take a chance because, you know what? If Zach lines up, he's going to be tough to beat. He's too good a player. Now, I'm not sure if this is the ball he sanded. But we're going to see. Yep, he did sand it. And I think he sanded it because of lane 18. Wow. Hard to believe it missed. This part of his game here, this is one of the parts of his game in the last few years that has become so remarkably good. And I hope I'm not jinxing him here because he is such a great 10-pin shooter.
I was going to say,
he's just unbelievable.
That was close.
I know that was close, yeah.
I was going to say, you should probably wait till he throws it. It's fair.
I have faith.
I don't think Zach is too fond of being on the live stream based off of his past experiences on here, but
exactly.
Hopefully we can change that in future.
What he really has to do is he have to find a way for him to get in position one.
That is true. And he's really as close as he's ever been on our show. So
Yeah, exactly.
one thing to note, too, that Matt McNeil is also an owner at On Track Pro Shop in South St. Paul with AJ. So
Yeah, so that's...
it's a star-studded pro shop, if you ask me.
yeah.
Good shot there.
Great ball. So I think he's touched the surface on the ball because he had a question while the warm-ups were going on on whether they could retouch the surfaces. As long as the game hasn't started, this is not a sequential set. So as long as the game has not started and he's in warm-ups, he's more than welcome to do whatever he wants to the surface.
And again, it's really important to know the rules based on where you're bowling.
I agree. Good looking ball. Oh, it's going to be tough to beat, but I think Zach's up for it. I really do. He's got nothing to lose. He's been here how many times trying to do this, so.
McNeil now up in the third, working on a double.
Nailed it.
It seemed like it labored a little bit down lane.
Yeah, it did. He nailed it off his hand, though. I think it might have been a hair wide.
Or was it a slight
twist? I might have missed that.
A slight miss off of the rotation at the bottom. But he sure liked that one.
Yeah, it looked good off his hand to me, but he really lets it go. For those people that are watching different spare shooters at single pins, they all have a very specific technique because it has to do with feel. Like if you just watch Matt throw that 7-pin, he just let it go, and his arm dictated the direction of he wanted to let it go in. He had no turn on it, just dead behind the ball. Other people like to loft it, throw it hard. He really walked left on that one.
Good shot there.
So he's actually right of the ball return on his stance on that right lane, but he's walking like an S in front of the ball rack. He's not standing in front of it. I think because he feels like he needs a little more room for his steps.
Right, yep.
Yeah, everybody does it a little bit different.
Correct.
But
And a lot of times it's a momentum thing too.
It is.
Because if you start in front of the ball return, you take smaller steps.
It's really hard.
You need a lot more upper body strength.
Yeah. AJ does it so well because he starts the swing first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Finds himself in his approach.
Exactly.
Yep.
Oh gosh. That was so good.
So that's a question for you too. When, as you mentioned, AJ's in front of the ball return, starts to swing. As a two-hander, that's not really possible.
No.
In a sense.
Yeah.
So
they already have what we call ball speed problems, and they have a little jump
correct.
in their second last step. So it's really, really important that he gets some motion. He needs the motion. You're absolutely right. It's tougher for them.
Good shot there.
Yeah. But he doesn't have any choice because he's got to use the two hands. He's got no thumb, right? So he has to use the two hands to get the momentum. If he doesn't get the momentum, he doesn't get the ball speed. And with his rev rate, he'd be in big trouble. It's one of the reasons he's playing so left.
True. Well, and as expected, when you get to this level with these caliber of bowlers, you only have one miss and 4 frames for each guy. So,
yep, it's very true. Oh, he knew that one. I think you're right on that last shot. He might have twisted a little bit more than he wanted to. That gave him the different angle of entry. This one rolled flush into the hole.
They always say, in certain patterns, you try to get the ball to slow down and to make that turn and to rotate the right way.
Yeah.
And maybe he rotated a little too much along the side. It labored down lane.
Yeah.
Came in behind the head.
Yeah, exactly. It was a little late in the comeback. You're right. I'm not seeing any differences in Matt's stance and or line that he's playing between these two lanes. That's totally different than what the right-handers are going through here. He didn't like it. He just sent it too far right. On this right lane, you've got to get it off your hand earlier. You cannot project it. If you project it, that's exactly what happens on that right lane.
And one thing I will mention, having a lefty on our championship match, is everyone has always known that this tournament does favor a lot of left-handers. But in this particular year, aside from Matt, the left side was pretty blank in day 2. A lot of the lefties struggled this week.
Yeah, it was tough. And they needed a little more help to break down the lanes, and they didn't have as many of their left-handed players as we had the right-handed players.
Sure.
So, and I think that truly made the difference. There was only 8 games to play, but more importantly, there was only 1 person per lane versus 3 per lane in the qualifying.
So really getting through that qualifying round is what's so key for those lefties.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, the left side has been good to the left-handers, but I got to tell you, there's a lot of good right-handers playing this tournament. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, it's just really a testament to Matt's game and the tricks he has in his game to get through what not a lot of lefties were able to do this week.
Yeah, they didn't have a chance. Oh, that was 2 in a row. I'm not sure what happened there. All I know is he's not getting it off his hand as quickly as he was unloading in the previous frames.
And we do have a question here from Dylan Scott in our chat room. What pattern are they on? They are on the Kegel's beaten path. So,
yeah, if you get a chance, get your proprietor to put that out and practice on it, boy. It's going to make you better.
Ooh, hard way.
Ooh, that is the hard way.
And I feel like the beaten path isn't one of those that is going to really frustrate you, but it'll show your misses. It'll keep you honest.
It will. And I will tell you, we use this pattern a lot with our youth provincial final tournaments, and it's not that bad because it's only 6 games.
Yep.
So because it's only 6 games, it's okay. And there's not that many players. And remember, they're youth, and you don't have that many high revs.
Correct.
You've got so many high rev players that come to this tournament.
And it breaks down so quick.
Oh, it just
so
breaks
quick.
down so fast. Good looking ball.
Good roll.
Wow. He's on a mission.
Think he wants this one?
I think he wants this one. He's on a mission. Yeah, he's on a mission.
Again, a quick thank to the rest of our sponsors. We have One Insurance, Instabox, Airwise Incorporated, Oakley Alarms, Abby's Garage Doors, and Penner International. So again, thank you to all of them for helping support this tournament for so many years. Really, I've seen a few of those on there.
Oh yeah, Abby's
many years in a
Garage,
row.
Al Crandall, thank you, sir. You have been a blessing. You have contributed to this game in so many ways for so many years.
Again, following this match, if this is the last one, we'll get a word with our champion.
Yeah.
But like we mentioned before, Matt must be defeated twice.
That was a little inside.
Ooh, got away with it.
Ooh, he got away with it. I thought that was a 6-8. Oh my, that was close. He was right up. He squared up a little bit. Did not have the angle away from the pocket on that one. Wow. When it's going your way, it's going your way.
It
right?
is. I'm sure Matt has a few fans back in the Minneapolis area watching today, so shout out to them. Again, share with your family, friends, everyone on social media.
Absolutely.
And if you missed part of our show, it will be in the archive on YouTube as long as NDBowling.com is in business, so feel free to watch it at any time.
That's a much better shot. He doesn't want to give it up.
Well,
He does not want to give
you're
it up.
asking me, I don't think he can miss the rest of the way. So
Yeah, he can't. He can't. Absolutely can't. But think about it. If he puts a little pressure on Matt, maybe that last shot is not the last shot.
right. And
So
Matt was our high qualifier yesterday, right at 23.81. So
yeah, he was.
and AJ Chapman was second, and Zach Wilkins was third. So the same few guys, kind of. Mitch Hupe was in fifth. So
Yeah, they were very dominant. There's no question about it. I was a little bit remiss when I was talking about some of our youth players that played in the tournament. Austin Ducharme is on our present youth championship Canadian team. So he also participated. And by the way, he made the cut, and he had a pretty good day. It could have been a little better. He would have wanted to make the cut. We had a local youth bowler, 16 years old, Tyler Groening, first competition at this level. He's going to be an amazing player. Oh, what a bad break.
Seen a lot of those this week. I know I had quite a few.
So many 9-pins. Oh.
Because you try so hard to get that entry angle the right way to kick corners, and then a 9-pin comes in there.
And you're just going through a little bit too strong.
And you don't dare try to soften up a little bit or get less of the head pin, because then you're gonna flat 10.
That's the toughest carry with these pins, especially with these pins, is the half hit.
Yeah, the twister pins.
The twister pins. Yeah, they're the toughest carry. The half hits, corner. Always. It doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. You're going to leave the corner. So you got to either swish it or you got to pack it in.
Well, starting to look like a mere victory lap here for McNeil if he can keep it going.
He wants this, and I think he's going to go get it right now.
Good shot.
There it is. Oh, my. He's not going to miss. He's not going to miss. Got a couple of lucky ones, and he's going to keep it. That's what you have to do. There are breaks out there, and they don't always come your way, but you have to keep your head in the game. That's the most important thing that you have to learn as a player. The lessons learned are accept what it is and move on with what's in front of you, not what just happened behind you. The best players in the world do that all the time.
And considering Matt has made our show here now the 5th time,
well deserved.
Finally get this one done.
Yeah. Good ball. Good ball. Oh, little light. That was that half hit I was talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. We often talk about our game being a game of inches. I sometimes wonder if it isn't even a little less than inches. It's because sometimes it's so minute, a difference from one shot to the other, and yet you don't get it. Uh-oh.
Got it.
Wow.
Just barely.
Safe.
Yeah. Get your skinny jeans on. Well, Wilkins can still put up 224, and Matt's already in the 220s. So
yeah, so
this one seems like a done deal here.
It's definitely a done game, and you know what? He led from start to finish, so he deserves this. He really does. I'm not saying that Zach bowled bad, because he didn't. He bowled great, and he was in that top 3 all day long for 2 days. So it's just, unfortunately, he got a pair that he could not match up.
Sure.
That's what it is. He's too good a player. He's too good a player.
Well, it does mark his best finish here in the Manitoba Open.
It does, so he's moving closer, and I still think the secret for him is he's got to find a way to climb on the top and lead so that he can come into this, because he'll have a better feeling of it. Yeah. He'll have a different feeling than he's had, especially when you're changing pairs to shoot in a step ladder. It's so tough.
Sure.
Especially these middle pairs at Chateau lanes. And there's nothing going to change it. It's topography, and doesn't matter what pattern you put out on it. We've played on these pairs for years, and they are tough. And I think it's good. The right players always win because they're playing the complete game. It's not just physical. It's just not just rev rate. It's not just power. It's not just straight. It's you got to make your changes.
Absolutely.
You've got to look at what's happening and adjust.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow, he was trying.
Yep. Well, we'll get a word with Matt here. We'll ask him a few questions, so have one ready yourself, because we do have a third headset here. Good. So usually we kick you out, but we don't have to do that.
Yeah, okay, I'll stay. I'll stay.
All right, so have a good question ready for him.
Yep.
And again, a good finish there for Zach Wilkins, making our show again, and maybe we'll see him up in Minot. I think that was a look of finally got this one. I think he. Yeah, he's finished second, third, fourth, and fifth here. So,
you know what the next one is, eh? Yeah. We were just saying that too. He's got to take the lead spot. It's his.
You know, so then they have to beat him twice, and
yeah,
that's where he's got to be.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, I'd like to thank the fine folks at Ebonite for sponsoring NDBowlTV. They've been great to work with, and I do love throwing their equipment. And I think I threw the Matrix all day yesterday, and I even got a high game pot out of it.
Good ball. Yeah.
And then once again, stay connected to NDBowling.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to the YouTube page. You'll get updates. Again, we're going to get a word here with that man, winner Matt McNeil, the 37th annual champion of the Manitoba Open here. Okay, let's get to our booth here. All right.
Thanks, buddy. Great bowling.
Welcoming into the booth is Manitoba Open champion Matt McNeil. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And take us through yesterday. Take us through the qualifying round. I know I crossed with you a few times. Take us through your day.
Well, I've bowled here, 4 or 5 times, and know the center pretty well. Taken good notes over the years, and just giving the lanes what they wanted. And the fronts hook a little more here. The backhands play a little tighter just because there's so much friction on the lane surface. So I've really been working hard on my C release ever since the World Series, and creating a lot more rotation, a lot more tilt, and that's just been so helpful for me in the last month. I mean, I just feel like I have a new lease on life. I didn't feel I could win with my old ball roll, and working really hard on developing my C release into my A
looked really good out there today. And what changed from yesterday to today? I know you're the only lefty in the field of 24 today, so it's a testament to you and how versatile your game was, because you were pretty far right on the approach. So take us through your day today and into the finals.
Well, it's just winning matches. I mean, they were ugly, they were hard, and it was just trying to hit the pocket a lot, make a lot of spares. I made a couple 6-8s. I left plenty of 6-8s, but make a lot of spares and hit the pocket a lot. And just, I was kind of just letting people beat themselves.
Sure.
I wasn't getting up there and and throwing 4-baggers at people because it wasn't out there. I mean, you can tell how hard they were.
Yeah.
So it was really just hitting the pocket and and catching a double here, catching a double there, and letting other folks make a bad shot or two. And I won with a lot of 220s and a lot of 2-teens. Won all my matches.
Yeah.
Sure.
But you know what? What I admire about your game, by the way, we talked about this. I love your release the way it is right now. It's not that forward thing. It's got that little bit of through the side a little bit, which makes such a difference in the ball behavior down the lane. So my question is, because one of the things that I noticed yesterday is your demeanor. The fact that whatever happened, it didn't take you away from yourself. You kept yourself in the game and said, okay, that's done. I'll fix that next shot. And I don't know what goes on internally, but there's a lot of young players that are coming to this tournament and are watching this telecast. They would love to know what you think every shot, because it looks like the same shot every time.
Well, you definitely mentally you got to keep it that way, especially in a 10-game qualifier, where it's such a grind. It's so brutal. It's a long day. You're crossing all these pairs that play differently. Every lane's playing differently. So it's just with the scores being what they were, I just put myself in the mindset of make a good shot, hit the pocket. If I leave a spare, make it. I only missed one makeable for the whole tournament.
I didn't think you missed one. I was going to ask you that.
I got pretty down on myself. I missed a 7-pin, one 7-pin for the whole tournament. That was the only makeable I missed.
That would be nice.
That is incredible.
Well, the spare shooting was huge, though. All the 220 games that could have been 2-0 games were 220s because I was making all my spares. You have to be very, very patient. At the World Series, when I was bowling the PBA World Series just this last year, you just because scores were so high, it was the opposite of this, right? Scores were so high, you really had to focus on just kind of sticking your head in the sand and just playing your game.
Yep.
You know what, make one great shot at a time, and that's all I can control, and that's all I'm going to do. And, if I get 9 or 8 or 7, come back, regroup, whole new shot, make your spare, move on to the next one. And I really think my, all the years I've been bowling tournaments now, don't mean to date myself, but, all the high rollers and everything.
You're not that old.
Everything I've been bowling has just taught me to be really patient and has taught me to really stay just focused on making good shots. And I'm more process-oriented versus outcome-oriented.
Yeah. That's so good to hear because a lot of the players I'm talking about are youth players and Canadian team players, and there was a few of them in this tournament. And that's one of the things we focus on in their camps, right?
Yeah.
Is mentally you have to have not only a routine, but you have to stay in the game that's in front of you.
Yes.
Not what's happened behind you.
Exactly.
So
and every frame's a new frame.
Yeah.
Every frame is a new frame.
It's so good to see you play that way. I just wanted some of those people to relate to it coming from you rather than from me, because I am an old guy, but I'm a coach, and you're such a good player, and it's so nice to hear it from you.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Very nice, but congratulations to Matt.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
and
it.
Great tournament.
Second major for the NDBowling.com.
What's the Triple Crown?
The Triple Crown, there's actually 4.
Oh, is there?
There's actually 4, yes. You got
All right.
Minot, you got Fargo,
Yep.
you got this one, and then down in Bismarck at the KFYR.
I gotta start bowling these more often.
Well, then come to Fargo in March.
All right.
For the Classic.
All right, sounds good.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Congrats.
Great. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, and once again, we'd like to say thanks to you, Mike. Thanks for joining us once again, and we'll be back once again next year.
Okay. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, Darren. You guys do a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I hope you keep doing it.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Yep. All right, so a little look at the trophy presentation here, and a nice send-off for Matt. And I'd like to thank everyone for watching today and our 37th Manitoba Open Championship. They're going to take a little picture here with all the finalists. And quick reminder to watch our show here in 2 weeks from Minot, as we will give you live coverage of the finals at the CMA Memorial Shootout, our second major of the season. If you want more information on all these tournaments, please go to NDBowling.com and click on the upcoming events page. Once again, you can stay connected to NDBowling.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube page. It is free. Again, thank you to Sean Morris and everyone down in Hopkinsville at Ebonite for sponsoring the High Plains Bowling Network. And once again, you're watching NDBowlTV. Have a good night.